Hello everybody, and thank you for coming to my talk, which is part of the UKEdChat Conference 2021. I'm Sarah Pavey, and I'm an independent education consultant and trainer. And I'm going to be talking to you today about something called an LMS. Now, you might think that an LMS stands for Learning Management System, but not in the context I'm going to be talking to you about it. Now, I'm talking about a library management system, and this is some secret software that librarians keep to themselves in the dark depths of their library. It's actually a cunning disguise because this software is not really about the library. It could be used throughout the school, as we're going to see. Now, in order to get into the library undetected and to get anywhere near that library computer, I'm going to have to put on a clever disguise. Okay, so here I am in the library. Here I am in the library. I think my disguise has worked. But the next thing I've got to do in order to have a really good look at this software is to get inside that library computer. So here goes. Oh, that was a close shave. Made it. Somebody came up to the desk just as I was trying to get in. Anyway, time for a look around. Actually, while we're at it, this computer looks a bit out of date to me. I mean, I know they put old hardware in the library, but this is a bit beyond a check. Anyway, it's what's inside that counts. So let's have a look around. Okay, so we all know what a librarian does all day. They stamp books in and out, and they put things away on the shelves, and they chase up the stuff that doesn't come back. And sometimes they even demand money with menaces. Now, in the old days, this was pretty much true. But then came the LMS, the Library Management System computer, and the librarian's life changed. So yes, librarians still do loans and returns, and they still do renewals and reservations, and they still even send out those overdue notices as well. But some things have changed, largely because of COVID. So some are able to offer a click and collect service in the library, and they can actually quarantine the books so that they're not taken out too early. They've also allowed students and staff to do self-renewals and self-reservation and self-issue. They don't allow you to do self-returns because they're still suspicious you might cheat and pretend that you've returned a book when you haven't. And as for the fingerprint thingy that you can have in order to borrow a book, that's a bit dodgy in COVID times. So the more modern systems are geared to using a tablet, and you can scan with your face as recognition or a card, and you can use the camera on the device for scanning the barcode of the resource you want to take out. Well, okay, if you don't bring back the resources on time, you might still get a threatening letter. You don't want to meddle with the librarian, but you might get a little helpful reminder that comes through a couple of days before the resources are due back, just so that you can remember to bring them in. So the other thing about these library management systems is that they're portable. So they could be taken to your classroom on a laptop, or the librarian could use a secret code to log into your classroom computer and get to the program and be able to issue and return resources there. In fact, librarians could turn up anywhere in the school to do this. They could be in the playgrounds or even the dining hall. The thing is, you never know when there's a librarian about because they are very quiet. Shh. I think I better have a look around and see what's actually in this database, see what I can find. But it suddenly occurred to me, if I'm a younger student, I might be a bit shocked if I found something that's really just supposed to be for the sixth form. Well, the good news is that the best systems can actually make sure that different groups of people can get a different startup page depending on who they are. And you can gear that startup page with different news items and information just for them. You could even have a staff one if you wanted. Or if you wanted to, you could set one up for your department. Or you could do it by topic. So say, you were in year 7 and you were a history student, you could actually have a landing page that took you immediately to all the information that was available on castles. Or you might decide that you wanted a landing page for a special event, something like Climate Change Day, or maybe Internet Safety Day. You can think of anything you want, really, and you can have a separate page that guides students and staff to the resources that they need to use. That's amazing. So let's have a bigger look. Let's delve deeper and see what it's actually got inside it contents-wise. I suppose it's really whatever your librarian chooses to add to the database. And it could be whatever you choose to add to the database. I can see pretty much everything here that we would need resource-wise. I mean, there's books, but yeah, you could put on downloadable ebooks too. And what about journals, and video streams and websites, and maybe some links to some apps that are going to be useful? Oh, look, somebody here has added some useful research articles. And there's some maps and some drawings and some illustrations. And I can see things that are kept in other parts of the school too, in other departments, not just the library. Oh, wow, there's a whole list of tech that I can borrow too. And I could do some room bookings, and I could put on some project boxes. There's toys and games. And somebody's put up a piece of exemplar work that the students could use as a model for their project that they're doing at the moment. And it's got some classroom notes about how to go about their research as well. Oh, look, there's the school policy for academic honesty and the school's latest newsletter. Oh, look, the yearbook as well from last year. That's really good. Of course, some of this content's going to be restricted. And in the best systems, if we can't borrow it, we're not even going to know it's there. It's going to be hidden from us. But the possibilities of this, it's got to be a school-wide system, not just for the library. The only problem is that I use quite a lot of databases. Well, is it possible we could add databases? Blimey, well, I wasn't expecting that. Look at this. I can actually hook up with anything that's available on the internet. And that really expensive subscription database that I paid for last year and that's hardly been used. Well, look, I could link up this library management system with that as well. And I'd even be able to tell who'd actually been looking at it. And look, here, I could get to the university catalogue as well, and the local public library. That's really good. And the other thing is that we subscribe as a school, I think, to one of these video systems that has educational videos on. And do you know what? This library management system will hook up with that as well. So that students, all they need to do is one search on that catalogue, and they could link in from any of these other sources. And that's going to be such a help. If I set homework, I know they've got everything that they can look at. Even better, I can check to see whether they've actually used it by getting a report. It's also really good because if you look at the World Wide Web, there are loads of free databases out there. We've got things, just ordinary stuff like Google Scholar for the sixth form or Google Books. And I can also link up with those. And there's quite a few companies like Dahl and Kindersley that are actually going to have their free databases on there as well. So this is like opening up our little school library to the whole community and to the whole world internationally. That's fantastic. But how do we actually do the search? One of the problems is that I'm not very good at spelling. Do you know what I've discovered? On this system, You only need to put in parts of words in any order, and it's going to find what I'm looking for. That's ingenious. Oh, look, I've stupidly typed in Dairy of a Wimpy Kid. Do you know what? It still found that book. There was another one. I had this book, and do you know what? I couldn't think of the title of it, and I couldn't even think of the author, but I knew it got this character in it. So I've just tried now. I've just put in the character's name. It's found the book. And then, the other National Poetry Day, I was looking for this particular poem, and there were just so many poetry books in the library. I didn't know which one it was going to be in. But do you know, this secret software, it took me to the right book and the right poem straight away. Then the other thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to get the students to look at a particular set of books that I'd got, because, you know, they're doing them as part of their coursework. And I could do that. I could actually make a reading list for them. All those advanced searches that you can do. I can even search on when the thing was last taken out. And if you're not too good at writing, well, the other good thing is that you can search visually. You can set up icons on this software, and then people just need to click the picture and they're going to get a list of the particular books they want. Or if we're doing one of those reading schemes and they're reading on a particular level, well, they can search and have a look at all the books that are just on that level. Well, we've got sixth formers, and they're doing something like EPQ, or they're doing an extended essay with the IB. Then they've got to be able to put what they've used into a citation and a bibliography at the end of their work. But on these management systems, the library management system, you can click a button and anything that you've actually used, it will put into a citation format that you can copy. It's really amazing. I can send messages to the librarian by just selecting a few books, putting them onto a wish list, and I can say to them, can you put these into a reading list for me? Could you put them into a project box for me? And they can do that straight away. Or I might say with the messaging, actually, I think there's a new term for this. Could you add this to all the resources on that topic? And they can do that as well. Or they could add websites, they could add subject headings, they could add a video, they could add anything you like. It's up to you to keep in touch with them. What would be really good is if I knew whereabouts in the library these things were. So I found them. Where do I find them on the shelves? Oh, my goodness. If I click this, I can see a map which shows me exactly where those resources are. Oh, and if I click this one next door to it, I don't believe this. There's a photograph of the shelves in the library, and it's actually going to direct me to them. Oh, I wonder whether it would actually bring me the books. No, that would be a bit too stupid, wouldn't it? Now, what would be really good is if I could keep track of textbooks. I can. And what's more, I can keep track of loans that go out every term. I can even keep track of the ones that go out for 6 weeks or 8 weeks. And for those ones where they've got it for a GCSE or an A-level course and they need it for 2 years, I can do a 2-year loan too. And I can say the exact date that I actually want them all to come back. But that librarian, they're going to get pretty cross if they have to chase up all the books at the end of the year. But no, look, I can actually do that myself. This is fab. So this is going to make them look after their books a lot more sensibly, because if each student is assigned an individual copy, then they can't start playing pass the book round at the end of the year, and the poor person who ends up without one is the one that actually gets charged for it. Now, what would be really good is if we could search, because they never ask for these textbooks by name. They always say, I want the big maths, the big red maths textbook. You can? You could actually search for that? That's amazing. The other thing we could do is I could actually get all my department books catalogued as well. Wouldn't it be great if a student could actually search, or a member of staff, search this database and find out whereabouts in the school those things are actually kept? So I'm guessing that if I can record my departmental textbooks, and then I'm guessing I could loan out tech equipment or just the boxes of stuff that I've got on this secret software too. Trouble is, with that kind of thing, you only really want it to go out for part of a day, but you might want it to go out, say, every Tuesday, period 2 for the next 6 weeks. What? The system actually does that as well? Well, we could use it to loan out for the school, I guess, games equipment, like bibs or balls or sticks or whatever they want. I can do that on a mobile app version of this. That's great, because then you don't even need to be connected directly into the school intranet. And that box of stuff that they've got lying around that goes out from the art department from time to time, I'm guessing the contents of that could be added as well. And the kits that go out during activity time and for PSC and for tutor time, they could all be done using this as well. Why didn't we know about this before? But thinking about home time and how things are at the moment, it would be so good if we could use this amazing resource, particularly the e-resources it's got on it. If we could use that from home. And actually on that landing page, they've got some other stuff that's been really good to keep students' spirits up. They've put up some competitions to enter in case they get bored, and a few puzzles that are just, well, puzzles just for doing. And do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking I could get them to write reviews about the resources that they've used and give them a star rating. And yes, here, there's a report function, and I can do all kinds of different reports about the use of resources and who's used them, like the most popular things in a particular class or the most popular authors in a particular year group. And I can make some nice pretty charts to stick up on my department walls as well. That'd be really good. I just think this is amazing. I mean, it's not really a library management system at all, is it? They've just been keeping this secret. It's a learning management system because, do you know what I've discovered? You can hook up with Google Classroom type products as well. We can put quizzes in here and lessons plans in here. It could be used throughout the school. In fact, do you know what? I think I'm going to go off and tell the finance officer that we're paying far too much for this amazing kit just to be reserved for a few loans and returns in the library. And then I'm going to go and sort out IT, because I'm going to make sure that they get it everywhere that's visible throughout the school so that we can all enjoy using it. And after that, I'm going to have a little word with the librarian. Wow, that was amazing. Thanks so much for coming along and taking the risk with me. We should all take risks, I feel. Oh, I can hear someone coming. Right, I'm getting out of here quick. See you in a minute. I hope that this talk has given you some inspiration to go and take a closer look at your library management system. All of the functionality that I've described exists, but some systems may not provide everything. In general, the more a system costs, then the more functionality it's likely to have. If we stop looking at this software as just being for the library and think of it in terms of being a whole school resource, then it becomes more cost effective. I'm happy to take questions. And if you're watching a recording, then please use one of these on the screen that you can see to get in touch with me. Meanwhile, just to say thank you very much for listening and enjoy the rest of this UKEdChat conference.